Howdy. I wanted to go over my last podcast a bit. First off, just for perspective, that was never really meant to be released on this channel. And I do little things other places, and it was just somewhat of an off-cuff kind of thing. And I actually spliced a couple of things together and hit print. But I wanted to speak on so far as the serpent seed goes, you know, anyone that's read their Bible perhaps would look at that and go, well, that's interesting. So you're telling me that Cain was somehow half angel, half human. So what went on during the flood? As you know, the sons of God found the daughters of men attractive and took all of them unto them that they saw fit, and bore children unto them. Again, the sons of God found the daughters of men. And then as you look through Scripture, you can see that it would appear to be talking about a third of the stars that fell, that decided to walk in the rebellion of Lucifer along with him. I'm convinced that's where man learned everything. Agriculture, mathematics, astronomy. The whole kit and caboodle. Far more than we know now, that's for sure. It's speculation, but I think it's reasonable speculation. That's why I would always tell a new Christian to start in the beginning. You know, I was told I was saved for years, but once I started desiring to delve into Scripture and get closer with God and understand Him better, you know, I was told, like many, to start in the New Testament, and it's for good intentions. People tell you that. I would direct people to not do that. You need to start at the beginning. You're going to have chunks of your theological worldview removed from the 40,000 foot view if you start in the New Testament. Just have that 5 to 10 or 15 minute conversation about what it was Christ accomplished on the cross for both the Gentile and the Jew, and then send him or her to Genesis. But, you know, I would say it's reasonable to speculate apologetically, theology. Just don't hand it out as just acknowledge when you're speculating or when you're entering the territory of apologetics. I mean, especially for a guy like me, like I'm no theological scholar, but I have read the Bible, and I don't think it's hidden. I just think people are pruned through seminary school, and they're pruned to take a perspective from a specific viewpoint through our institutionalized educational systems. And I don't think that's by accident either. And for those of you out there that have gone down certain rabbit holes, to acknowledge, to come to find aspects of reality that are indeed hidden behind deceptive veils, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Some think that the serpent's seed snuck in through Noah's line, Noah's generation, and that's how it perpetuated and continued. Some call that nonsense. Others would say that a faction of the Nephilim escaped the flood, survived. I think that's very possible. Mind you, people need to really wrap... How long ago was it that Dolly, the lamb, was cloned? You do understand we can dig up graves, take someone's DNA, and clone them. You do understand that. That sophistication, can I talk? That sophistication is in place and has been for a very, Very long time. Mind you, we don't even know. I can tell you that the Department of Defense, if you were to go to their website right now, there's upwards of 6,000 patents that are not to be released to the public. National secrets, technologies. So my point is, let's just say that that the original seed of the serpent didn't survive. What's to keep Lucifer post-flood from raising his own remnant? We see God do it all the time. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, King David, Solomon. Oh, I see. So God can do that. But the enemy can't? That's interesting. Then why was it that when Christ was tempted, he was taken out to the desert and taken up to the tippy top of a mountain, and he was offered the deal of bowing down before Satan to inherit the kingdoms of the kingdoms that he could see from the top of the mountain? Well, that's interesting. My point is, there's more than one way for this serpent seed to populate. And if you look back at the rituals and traditions of those that practiced Molech and Baal worship, Baal, Baal, what have you, you will see that burning their children and child sacrifice was a big part of it. It was predominantly Baal worship, but I think it was referred to often as Molech worship for the descriptive. That's going on. I mean, you don't expect CNN or ABC or MSNBC to run that on the daily news, do you? That's a thing. Mind you, that's why I believe humanity has been duped in to believing that pro-choice is some type of modern-day contraceptive, when indeed you've been duped, and those who participate have been duped into paying homage to their gods. That's the point. If you shun your God, you won't have any protection. That's my point. You will never, ever, ever overcome the world and overcome the enemy without God. And just for the record, no, I don't believe that being hybrid, so to speak, excludes you from salvation. And we can tell that with the way God spoke to Cain. You know, when Cain offered God his sacrifice, it's quite clear there that God was like, well, if you do well, won't I respond in like? So no, I don't believe it excludes you from salvation. And this makes more sense as to why it was Lucifer felt comfort in rebelling. It's almost like he knew he was going to set God up for a gotcha. He knew he was love, almighty and righteous. He was banking, in my opinion, he was banking on the fact that post-rebellion, God would not wipe away all his creation because he had an intimate relationship with God, and he knew how God operated. It was a gotcha. Gotcha. I'm destroying your seed. Gotcha. Then the flood comes to reverse that destruction. I hope people are aware of that. When God looked all over the earth in the days of Noah, and he found that there were none righteous. You need to read that clearly and decipher where he's not speaking about being good or bad. The original seed, the bloodline of Adam and Eve, had been corrupted all flesh had been corrupted. It wasn't so much that Noah was a mighty, good, righteous man like Job, as much as what needs to be driven home is that the enemy was attempting to destroy God's original seed. And God put a stop to it. Again, if you have poor context, you're going to look at God being naive and ignorant as a new Christian and think, how awful of him. No, it was mercy. He knew what was going on. Mind you, I believe an ancient Near East Israelite understood what was going on better then than we do now. Their worldview is far closer to reality than ours. We've been infiltrated with institutionalized malarkey, and it's meant to confuse, to pull you away from your power, to pull you away from your Creator. And it's been quite successful in that regard. You know, I considered like bringing in some Bible verses and doing these kinds of things, but I don't think it's necessary. I think people who are interested in those kinds of things will, on their own time, look into those things. And I guess that was my point. Whether the seed survived through Noah's line, or because some of the Nephilim survived, or because later Lucifer just raised up his own line post-flood. I guarantee you those things. One of three of those things is true. I believe it's two of those things, if not all of them. But anyways, I hope you're enjoying the melancholy, exceptionally depressing, suicidal music in the backdrop. Isn't that nice? Anyways, I hope all of y'all have been well. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for fall. You all be well. God bless. I'll talk to you later.